Get ready for Changing Worldviews with Sharon Hughes, the 30-minute show packed with an hour's worth of information, bringing you familiar guests on important issues such as immigration, education, the Middle East, culture, religion, and the changing worldviews of Americans and the world. You've seen her on Fox News, you've read her on the World Wide Web. Now here's Sharon.
For such a time as this.
Freeing the minds of the brainwashed masses.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to this edition of Changing Worldviews today. Korea Times reports that the two Korean countries, North and South Korea, will hold the first high-level talks in 7 years this week, just hours before U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry visits Seoul, Korea, for a wide range of issues, including the situations in the North. And a group of Chinese bloggers have asked the United States to take up the cause of internet freedom in an unusual meeting with Secretary of State John Kerry. President Obama has settled into a President's Day holiday weekend of golf with friends at a secluded retreat, the desert estate of the late philanthropist Walter and Leonore Anneberg. Welcomed the president, who also met with Jordan's King Abdullah on Friday night at the property. The Communist Party is helping President Obama and Democrats in the upcoming 2014 elections. Communist Party USA Chairman Sam Webb, who acknowledged that one of the problems the movement faces is the stigma of the name communist among some Americans, and says that socialism is phase one of communism. But, quote, the good news is the same hang-ups or stereotypes that people had 30 to 40 years ago are not so evident today. Growing numbers of people are ready to have a conversation about socialism. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about government and government control. Marx, who is the father of socialism/communism, had 4 goals. Number 1, to destroy the family, to destroy the economy, to infiltrate the media, to, as he said, destroy capitalism and dethrone God, and to infiltrate the media, the culture, and to tear down national patriotism. Wherever socialism happens in a country, communism follows. And we know that communism is all about control. And unfortunately, here in America, the discussion is growing with substantial concern about the increase of government control over American citizens. And that is what we're going to be talking about today. So stay with me. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Sharon Hughes, coming to you from the Wild, Wild West. And we mean wild.
Thanks for staying with me, everyone, because it is President's Day. I thought you might like to hear college students who actually failed the Bill of Rights quiz by political prankster Mark Dice, who was at a prestigious institution, quote, of higher learning.
We're talking about the Bill of Rights today. Can you name some of the Bill of Rights?
I have homework due like 2 hours.
Okay, but I'm giving you homework. I'm asking about your Bill of Rights homework. Have you brushed up on that?
No, not recently.
What are the Bill of Rights?
What, the foundation basically of this country or what?
Yeah, can name some of the Bill of Rights.
Can't think of any off the top of my head right now.
You can't name any of them off the top of your head?
No.
You're a college student at one of the most prestigious schools in Southern California.
Engineering
and you don't know the basic Bill of Rights. Shame on you.
Yeah.
So go and look them up and study them after you get done studying whatever you're studying today.
When I get the chance, yes.
We're talking about the Bill of Rights today.
Oh, I don't know anything about that.
Nothing. Are you an American?
I am.
And you don't know anything about the Bill of Rights?
No, I
You are part of the problem.
You
are the reason.
You
are the reason this country's going down the toilet.
Oh my God, I can't believe
It's true. Can you name some of the Bill of Rights?
I remember studying it, but I don't remember it.
I mean, that's not important these days, right?
I gotta go study.
You're going to study the Bill of Rights since you don't know them?
No, I'm gonna go study economics.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure that you're going to really do good in that when you don't know the Bill of Rights. Talking about the Bill of Rights here at this institution of higher learning. Can you name 3 of the Bill of Rights for us?
No.
Can you name 2?
I have to go.
Talking about the Bill of Rights today. You don't know them, do you? Shame on you. We're talking about the Bill of Rights today.
How about you just direct me towards the Wells Fargo ATM?
You're interested in we're not talking about banking, but we're real quick here. Just name 2 of the Bill of Rights.
Freedom of speech, and somebody asked me this question yesterday, and that's the only one I know.
So you just earned a 10%, which is a failure.
I'm sorry.
A big F for failure.
How about you give me 10 of them?
Okay. Freedom of speech, right to bear arms. You don't have to quarter soldiers in your house during peacetime.
It literally says quarter soldiers during peacetime?
You don't have to during peacetime. That's the Third Amendment. Okay. Fourth Amendment's illegal search and seizure, need a warrant. Fifth Amendment is you don't have to self-incriminate yourself, and you have due process. The Sixth Amendment is the right to a speedy trial in public. The Seventh Amendment says that trial is by a jury of your peers. The Eighth Amendment says no excessive bail or cruel and unusual punishment. The Ninth Amendment says that there are more rights that we have that are not listed in the Bill of Rights, the rights to the people. And the 10th Amendment has to do with states' rights issues over the federal government.
Gotcha. Impressive. Appreciate all that information today.
Thank you. Hope you brush up on the Bill of Rights.
I will, man.
It's important.
Okay, that was by political prankster Mark Dice, who was at a prestigious institution, quote, of higher learning to give college students a quiz on the Bill of Rights. Pretty unbelievable. As I said before the break, there's a national debate going on now about the increase of government control on the lives of Americans, and specifically President Obama's unprecedented power grab. President Obama may not have signed as many executive orders as George W. Bush yet, but the ones that he has signed, especially recently, show the unprecedented power grab of a president of the United States as he has changed laws. He's changed laws, bypassing Congress. Congress is responsible for legislation, not the president. President can veto. He can make recommendations, but he cannot change laws. And President Obama has done this. Somebody said 24. Yesterday in the news, it was 27 times on ObamaCare alone. We're going to be talking about these developments all week. And we also have our eye on Israel, as on Wednesday, I've got a special edition of the show with Israel pundit editor Ted Bellman, who's going to talk to us about Israel and why Israel should not give up any more land in the peace talks that John Kerry has been conducting. And we're also going to be talking with author Ron Rhodes on his latest book on the subject of cyber attacks, Cyber Meltdown. We're going to discuss how over-dependency on technology puts our nation at risk for cyber attacks, as well as individuals. But back to the subject of President Obama's power grab. Well, as you know, the last change that President Obama made to the ObamaCare law is giving employers more time to comply with rules requiring them to provide affordable health insurance for their workers. They first had until 2014, then 2015. Now they have until 2016 to provide ObamaCare for their employees. And there's a lot more to it than that. As it's turned out, and you are well aware, we may not be allowed to keep our doctor if we like them. We may not be able to keep our insurance if we like it, et cetera, as promised by the president himself.
We will keep this promise to the American people. If you like your doctor, you will be able to keep your doctor, period. If you like your health care plan, you will be able to keep your health care plan, period.
First of all, if you've got health insurance, you like your doctor, you like your plan, you can keep your doctor, you can keep your plan. Nobody is talking about taking that away from you.
No matter what you've heard, if you like your doctor or health care plan, you can keep it. If you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. If you like your private health insurance plan, you can keep your plan, period.
If you are among the hundreds of millions of Americans who already have health insurance through your job, or Medicare, or Medicaid, or the VA, nothing in this plan will require you or your employer to change the coverage of the doctor you have.
We have to take a break here. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Exposing the worldviews behind the political, cultural, and ideological wars being waged in our nation and world, Sharon packs an hour's worth of information into every half hour with news you can use.
Academia is often the wellspring of race hatred. This is something that we need to recognize. Eugenics, indeed, was a campaign to create a master race by do-gooders and progressives. They were attempting to create a utopia.
What's ending up happening is that Christians who say, I don't care about issues, they realize that's what's being used to silence the gospel. If they can silence the truth, they will silence the gospel.
You're being a watchwoman on the wall, Sharon. I say that with all sincerity. Appreciate what you're doing to sound the alarm, and we need more shows like yours.
Changing Worldviews is funded entirely through the tax-deductible donations of our supporters. If you've not done so already, renew your active support today. And if you're new to Changing Worldviews, would you consider helping us with a donation, becoming a monthly partner to help get the truth out and tell the world the side of the story that mainstream media doesn't report? Thank you so much ahead of time for supporting our efforts.
It's time for The Legal Edge with Brad Dacus.
AB 1266, the so-called co-ed bathroom bill, requires all public schools to allow self-identified transgender students to access bathrooms, locker rooms, showers, and sports teams of their choice. The co-ed bathroom bill will not go into effect as of January 1st, 2014, while signatures are being counted throughout the state. I'm Brad Dacus.
To find out more, log on at pacificjustice.org.
Thank you for staying with me. Just a broad overview of President Obama's unprecedented power grab, specifically H.R. 748, Universal National Security Act. It was introduced on February 15th, 2013. What we need to know is that the purpose of H.R. 748 is to, quote, require all persons in the United States between the ages of 18 and 25 to perform national service either as a member of the uniformed services or as civilian service in a federal, state, or local government program or with a community-based agency or community-based entity to authorize the induction of persons in the uniformed services during wartime to meet end strength requirements of the uniformed services, to provide for the registration of women under the Military Selective Service Act, and for other purposes. Period. We don't know what those other purposes are, but it's for a 2-year period of time. It's implemented by the President of the United States, and the terms community-based agency and community-based entity have the meanings given those terms in Section 101 of the National and Community Service Act. The term national service means military or civilian service, as I've already said. Why is it not all military? Why is there a civilian force? And as I said, what are 4 other purposes, quote unquote? Right from the bill itself, you draw your own conclusions of what you think about this. There are people all over the map in terms of their reactions to this, and I'll play just some of the clips.
So we're going to send more college graduates to teach and mentor our young people. We'll call on Americans to join an energy corps to conduct renewable energy and environmental cleanup projects in their neighborhoods all across the country. We will enlist our veterans to find jobs and support for other vets and to be there for our military families. And we're going to grow our foreign service, open consulates that have been shuttered, and double the size of the Peace Corps to renew our diplomacy. We cannot continue to rely only on our military in order to achieve the national security objectives that we've set. We've got to have a civilian national security force that's just as powerful, just as strong, just as well funded.
These crazy things may actually be happening. The President of the United States literally means this.
We cannot continue to rely only on our military in order to achieve the national security objectives that we've set. We've got to have a civilian national security force that's just as powerful, just as strong, just as well funded.
Mr. President, why do we need a civilian national security force that is just as strong, just as powerful as the military? Here's why I ask that question. Who are we fighting exactly? Who internally is threatening our security?
A couple questions is, why is it called universal? And why is it not all military? Why is there a civilian force? And as I said, what are 4 other purposes, quote unquote? Well, in 2009, the Department of Defense issued 1409.10, which is the Civilian Expeditionary Warfare document. And President Obama also signed Executive Orders 12-425 through 13-524 for emergency operations, stability operations, or the restoration of order. So why do we need to have civilian forces and military forces for special stability and restoration of order operations? What's that all about? Certainly has the conspiracy theorists with their antennas high. Stay with me. We'll be right back after this.
Just in, a military drill in downtown Miami, complete with these Black Hawk helicopters, elite soldiers, and police officers swarming the streets. It's kind of scary when you suddenly look up and see that, but it's all about being prepared for the unknown of urban combat.
And if you came across that scene that you just saw tonight, well, it likely left you in awe. Local 10 photographers, along with reporter Christina Vasquez, were there to witness it all. Christina.
In awe, and as you mentioned, it can be quite alarming. 7, we counted them, 7 Black Hawks thundered across downtown Miami. And we're going to take a pause here so you can listen in, so you can appreciate what it sounded like to be there. A rare sight indeed to see these Black Hawks weaving in between downtown Miami buildings. And what I can tell you, what we know, is that this was a joint military drill with the Department of Defense and Miami-Dade County Police. The rest, we are told, is classified, but for being a secret operation, it was certainly conducted, as you see, in such a public way, in full public view, as they made their way from downtown Miami over to Marlins Park and then roared right back. I can tell you that a similar drill was conducted on Tuesday night. I know that because I saw it firsthand. We asked all the questions you might imagine about what was conducted today, but we are told, Lori and Calvin, that all of that information cannot be released to the public.
And any indication, Christina, if we'll see this again tomorrow night or through the weekend?
Classified.
I stood on the steps of the old state capitol in Springfield, Illinois, and began an unlikely journey to change America.
We've got to have a civilian national security force that's just as powerful, just as strong, just as well funded.
If you talk to our generals, they are desperate for is a civilian counterpart to our military force.
I will cut tens of billions of dollars in wasteful spending. I will cut investments in unproven missile defense systems. I will not weaponize space. I will slow our development of future combat systems. And I will institute an independent Defense Priorities Board to ensure that the quadrennial defense review is not used to justify unnecessary spending. Third, I will set a goal of a world without nuclear weapons. To seek that goal, I will not develop new nuclear weapons. I will seek a global ban on the production of missile material, and I will negotiate with Russia to take our ICBMs off hair trigger alert and to achieve deep cuts in our nuclear arsenals.
The view that America is part of what has gone wrong in our world, rather than a force to help us make it right, has become all too common. Yes, there have been differences between America and Europe. No doubt there will be differences in the future. But the burdens of global citizenship continue to bind us together. A change of leadership in Washington will not lift this burden. In this new century, Americans and Europeans alike will be required to do more, not less. Partnership and cooperation among nations is not a choice. It is the only way, the one way, to protect our common security and advance our common humanity.
And Barack Obama will require you to work. He is going to demand that you shed your cynicism, that you put down your division, that you come out of your isolation, that you move out of your comfort zones, that you push yourselves to be better, and that you engage. Barack will never allow you to go back to your lives as usual, uninvolved, uninformed.
We are 5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America.
Omega. Alpha. Omega. Because of Obama, I'm inspired to be the next automotive technician.
Because of Obama, I'm inspired to be the next architect.
Because of Obama, I'm inspired to be the next engineer.
Because of Obama, I'm inspired to be the next fireman.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Oh, yes, we can.
Obama's healthcare plan will include coverage of all essential medical services.
Obama's healthcare plan will simplify paperwork for providers.
Obama's healthcare plan will provide subsidies for families who cannot afford Medicaid.
Dog team, retreat.
Alpha, Omega, Alpha, Omega, Alpha, Omega.
I've got a core set of values that I think have to be advanced.
Obama's gonna change it. Obama's gonna lead 'em. We're gonna change it and rearrange it. We're gonna change the world.
Hey, this is Brian Sussman. The whole truth and nothing but the truth. That's what you'll get with Sharon Hughes.
I'd like to encourage you to get a hold of this month's special offer. Not only do you get a great resource, but it also helps us pay for airtime. And this month, for a donation of $25 or more to Changing Worldviews, I would love to send you the 4-part series on CD, What Every American Needs to Know About the Quran, with modern-day historian and author William Federer. It's one of our most popular listened to shows online as we talk about a history of Islam and the United States and what that means.
It would catapult the heads of the Christians into the city like cannonballs, the ones that he had killed. I mean, wow. And he saw himself as literally killing the infidel. He thought he was serving Allah. So the thing is that when people say, well, jihad is just this personal struggle, it's like, where were you 1,400 years ago? Why didn't you tell Muhammad and the caliphs that it was just supposed to be a personal struggle? Obviously, the historical record of the last 1,400 years shows that the majority of Muslims have viewed it as a literal submission, conquering of the world.
Again, for a donation of $25 or more this month, your gift to Changing Worldviews will go directly to pay for airtime, and I would love to send you this outstanding resource. And you can get it by sending your check to Changing Worldviews, P.O. Box 750-624, Petaluma, California, 94975-0624, or you can order it online by going to changingworldviews.com, click on the donate button, one-time donation, and put in William Federer special offer. People are really enjoying having it. Coming up on our next edition of Changing Worldviews is...
But the danger is that even if you don't regularly use a computer yourself, well, you could still be in danger. And I'm sure that we're going to talk about some of those dangers, but let me just sort of whet your appetite, if I might. Our own president recently said on a global broadcast, in other words, to the nations around the world, that if the United States receives a significant cyber attack, all options are on the table, including a response from the U.S. military with a physical attack. In other words, our own government is taking it so seriously that our government has warned the world that if there is a significant cyber attack against the United States, we're going to use bombs and bazookas and jets and ships and tanks and the whole works. And so that ought to sort of let you know that it is a serious issue that we need to deal with.
Don't miss any of our shows this week right here on KDIA. Okay, so as we talk about the unprecedented power grab by President Obama, and specifically this has all come up because, as I mentioned, the president has changed the ObamaCare law 27 times. Fred Darwick, who is the owner of a medical staffing company based in Chicago, formerly a biological researcher at Northwestern University and the University of Chicago, talks about how this power grab threatens our democracy. Something is very broken in our government. He says, quote, "I'm not talking about the trillions in wasteful spending in Washington. It's something else that I believe will be regarded as the true legacy of the Obama presidency, a tectonic shift in the balance of power from private citizens and our elected representatives in Congress to the executive branch." He goes on to say what Soros, Pelosi, Reid, and the rest of the progressive crowd understood better than anyone prior to Obama's arrival in Washington Washington was the mechanisms for the direct control over most American enterprises already within the federal framework. Under Obama's leadership, the transfer of power away from Congress has progressed with alarming speed. For months, cap-and-trade energy legislation was bitterly contested on both sides of the aisle, and in the end, the bill was abandoned. However, because of regulations set by EPA Administrator Lisa Jackson, a government bureaucrat that most Americans have never heard of, CO2 emission limits began in January 2011, while our economy faces potentially catastrophic increases in energy costs, all accomplished without a single vote in Congress. We've seen this administration take control of private industries, including auto manufacturers, educational loans, commercial fishing even, and domestic energy production. And even with all these successes, the Obama administration still reaches for more. The Department of Education is actively considering regulations that will give it control over the educational content taught at all levels from kindergarten through graduate school, and the Department of Interior is looking to take over millions of acres of privately owned land throughout the United States. All of this is done without a single vote in Congress, whether through executive orders or, as President Obama said, I have a pen and I have a phone and I will do whatever it takes to get these things done, whether Congress agrees with him or not. So where do we go with this, ladies and gentlemen? We stay awake, we stay alert, we watch, and we pray. We have to pray for our country. We have to pray for our leaders. We have to ask God to give wisdom to those who want it and will use it for the good of our country. And we better be watching what candidates are up for running in the 2014 election. Before you know it, they will be here. And I want to encourage all of our listeners, do your research. Find out what the candidates that are running for office in your area, where do they stand on such issues? And help educate your family and your friends. So I encourage you to stay tuned every day, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday here on KDIA, and then of course on Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday for our online live streamed show, because we are not only living in a changing world, but things are really heating up and we need to be informed and know what's going on. And so until I see you next time, this is Sharon Hughes saying it like it is.
Thanks for listening to Changing Worldviews with Sharon Hughes. You can get more information on today's topic or order a CD of today's show by visiting changingworldviews.com or writing us at Changing Worldviews, P.O. Box 750624, Petaluma, California, 94975-0624. You can also contact us at talk@changingworldviews.com. That's talk@changingworldviews.com. Our program is listener-supported, and we appreciate your tax-deductible donations to help us get the truth out on the important issues Sharon addresses on the show. So until next time, remember, stay alert, stay informed. We live in a changing world.